Our very own reporters went to Donald Trump's rally in Indiana, and during this rally, we spoke to some Trump supporters about the issue of NFL players kneeling in protest of excessive force used by police. And there were some interesting perspectives shared. I don't want to give too much away, so why don't we go ahead and just toss to the first video. Let's take a look.
Trump has been pretty vocal about being against the NFL players kneeling during the national anthem to protest police brutality. What are your thoughts on that?
It's absolutely outrageous. They have no right protesting there whatsoever. Go on out amongst your life. Don't subject us to your protests. We love America. We love black people. Knock it off.
What would you say to them saying, well, we're subjected to disproportionate police brutality?
Say again now?
You said, don't subject us to your protests. They would say, well, we're subjected to disproportionate police brutality.
Well, when 13% of the population, and by the time you divide it down, really 3% of the population commit only over 50% of the murders in the United States. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I don't know why he wasn't wearing a shirt.
At least he covered up. Just kept the nips in place,
So that was Emma Vigeland, by the way, doing these incredible interviews. You're going to see more clips in just a minute.
Sorry, I just walked out of the stereotype.
Oh.
Sorry, my bad.
But so Emma is incredibly professional. I'm sure she approached him, asked him for an interview. And so at that point, you have an opportunity to put your shirt on. I don't know why he didn't just put his shirt on before the question and answer portion of this video began, but nonetheless.
You don't? I mean, look at the guy. I know why he did. Not to his credit. I want to, I'd show that off if I had it.
True.
Why is this
red?
red?
The red ring, it's hot.
Why is it so red? What happened?
Anyway,
obviously
to be fair, he's just a guy getting ambushed. I find his comments to be far more, but it could be a photo finish.
He's not being ambushed. I want to be clear about that.
We love black people. They commit most of the crime. Bye.
I wish we had a whiteboard or something so he could show his work. Because it's like when you divide it down, it's really 3%. What?
Yeah.
To divide it, how are you dividing it down? So the people that I consider people.
Like you take this pimple here, and you divide that down, and all the clusters over here, and you get, just black crime.
I was gonna say, like maybe if he had a T-shirt, he would have to take his hat off, and so that's why he didn't put the T-shirt on. But it's a button down. You can just be like, all right, let's.
I just don't get why he didn't put his shirt on before they started the interview.
It's the message
I'm sure
that's important.
Emma approached him and asked, "Can I interview you?" It's not like she's not ambushing people at this event. It's a Trump rally in Indiana. Just put your shirt on before you start answering any questions. Anyway, nonetheless, you might be wondering, why is this topic coming up during this Trump rally? Why is Emma asking these questions? Well, there's been a lot going on in regards to the NFL players kneeling and protesting in response to police brutality. And recently, it was discovered that the Secretary of State for the Republican Committee of Beaver County, Pennsylvania, had posted some horrible things on Facebook in response to these NFL players. And I want to share some of that with you. These are her words. Carla Maloney is her name, and she posted these comments on Facebook. She said, "Tired of these overpaid, ignorant blacks telling me what I should believe in? I will tell you what I believe in, and that is our flag, the national anthem, and America, period, end of story. You don't like it here? Go to Africa, see how you like it there. We are all Americans, not African American, not Hispanic American. We are all American."
Miss Maloney, you seem like a real nice lady.
Yeah. No, it gets worse. I want to read the second comment, and I want you all to jump in and tell me what you think. She says, "Steelers are now just as bad as the rest of the overpaid baboons. You respect your flag, country, and our national anthem. How many men and women have lost limbs or died to protect this country? And you, baboons, want respect. If you want respect, you need to earn it, and so far you haven't. Stop watching or going to a game and paying for overpriced food, water, and tickets. Let's see how the baboons get paid when white people stop paying their salaries." So 3 times she used the word baboons.
Because I was like, oh, she says balloons. And I was ready for it because I just misread it. She said baboon.
Again, the racism of the entire NFL protest, which we know are literally just a straw man that the Trump administration, Trump himself have said, this is actually just to distract people. I bring it out because it does well for me. I bring it out when I'm, let's say my campaign chairman is, pleading guilty or being indicted or whatever it is. This is when I roll these so-called culture war issues out. I make it about race, but thinly veiled. And then Miss Beaver County over here, just didn't get the memo about just the veil. There's no thin veil. It's just whoosh. We saw everything. She dropped the plaid shirt. You know what I'm saying? It's if we actually saw the entire chest of racism that is the entire NFL anthem debate.
Can we just have a quick discussion about what actually qualifies as disrespecting our troops? Because kneeling in practice of your First Amendment right to protest a legitimate concern that's impacting your community, I would argue that doesn't really disrespect our troops. What does disrespect our troops is sending them to wars so weapons manufacturers and private contractors can get rich, right? Lying to the American people, as Bush did, about Iraq having weapons of mass destruction, and then sending our soldiers to that country so they can die based on a lie that our federal government told. That wasn't disrespectful.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
And if you ask those troops, I mean, truly, they fight, and I'm always amazed that they make this leap. They fight and die for the ability to protest in freedom. I mean, these are freedoms guaranteed. And if you look at the fighting forces, you'll see all the different colored faces. You'll see all the different ethnic backgrounds. It's absurd on its face. And then finally, on the anthem, of course, they've conflated the military with the flag. We've said it before, but it's so true. It's not about the military. That's not what the anthem is. But if you fly enough F-15s over NFL games while the anthem's playing, it gets conflated. And so they've succeeded in making it about the military. It never had anything to do with the military. The protest isn't even about something that concerns the military.
Right.
It's about, as Anna says, it's about life back here in America.
We just told you guys a story about a police officer who was convicted of murder because he shot into a vehicle that had black teenagers in it. A 15-year-old teen was shot and killed as this car was driving away from the cop. By the way, the people in the car were guilty of no wrongdoing. They were leaving a house party that the cops were called into. And as they were driving away, the cop thought it was a good idea to open fire and shoot the people inside the car. 15-year-old died as a result. That officer from Texas just got sentenced to 15 years in prison. It is a legitimate problem. It is a legitimate issue. But certain people in America, certain Trump supporters in America don't want to accept it. And it makes you question why it makes them so uncomfortable to see black athletes protest a legitimate problem in America. Well, let's go to the next video. Emma Vigeland spoke to more Trump supporters at this rally. Let's hear what they had to say.
Instead of kneeling for a game, let them go to the streets of Chicago where there's hundreds of people that are killed by gangbangers every week, but the media doesn't address the mass killings in Chicago with the strictest gun laws in the nation. So if these guys were kneeling about police officers being killed, or killing innocent black men, as according to CNN and all that, let them go to Chicago and see where the murder is at.
So I'd like 2 anchovies on that pizza and extra sauce. Anyway, so
Yes,
back.
I'm calling
I
about.
like that
I'm calling about the Neil Diamond cassette tapes I saw. Hold on, sorry. Anyway, they're lazy.
Yeah, I like that you could, but that is the case. It's funny that you just can't put the phone down from your, just for the time and it's going to take you to interact with the reporter.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Grand Wizard. What were you saying? Sorry, what was that you were saying, Grand Wizard?
You've reached the KKK. For a protest, hit 1.
So there is one more video that I want to toss to before we continue, and this one's relevant because of the issue of anecdotal evidence versus the broader picture, studies, statistics. I found this interaction fascinating. Take a look.
Without respecting our law enforcement, this is Baghdad without police. If we don't have the police force here in America that we have, this is Baghdad, this is Iraq, this is pandemonium. So of course we want our people to kneel for law enforcement. We want Americans to respect law enforcement. These guys come out and put their life on the line every day for people they don't even know.
But what do you think about the fact that, you know, if you're black, you're 3 to 4 times more likely to be shot and killed by police unarmed than a white person?
Says who?
Statistics.
Says the media. I've never been shot at by a cop, so I don't know. I've got nothing but love from the Evansville Police Department. I've never been shown anything but respect by our law enforcement here. I've never been hit. I've never been brutalized. I've never been beaten. I've never had any of those instances here ever in my life. I'm 42 years old. I'm not some squeaky clean guy. I've never seen those things.
So because you haven't seen them, you think other people may not have? I mean...
First things first, the media creates most of this hype. Everything you see, you can't believe everything you see in the media. First thing, I mean, come on. How many people you know been beat up by the police?
I'm not going to refer to my own anecdotal evidence. I kind of want to look at the statistics from the FBI that have been put out.
Statistics, Shmanistics.
That's a good point. I wasn't really on your side until you repeated one word twice, but the second time with a silly pronunciation of it.
Shmanistics.
Shmanistics.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
So there were 2 things there that stood out to me. First was the regurgitated talking point about the media.
Thank you.
Which you hear throughout all of these interviews. We don't trust the media. The media is making a big deal out of something that doesn't actually exist. So it doesn't matter what the statistics say. It doesn't matter if there's well done fact-based reporting out there that someone can turn to get real evidence of what's going on in the country. I mean, they will reject it because their dear leader has told them to reject it.
Right.
And they don't care. They don't, first of all, I don't know how many even know the difference between anecdotal evidence and actual statistics that look at the broader picture.
No.
But there's this sense of, well, I haven't experienced it, so of course, it doesn't exist.
So there's no Mars. I haven't experienced Mars. There's no Mars.
There's no cancer.
Right.
Knock on wood, I haven't experienced cancer, so it must not exist.
This is about, and I don't want to be, let's reach across the aisle, let's listen to the other side, let's break out of our bubbles. I'm not trying to be an elitist liberal here, but like you learn at around 6th grade, 5th grade, maybe even 4th, that like you actually aren't the center of the universe, and you're like, damn it, you know, it's always a moment. And your parents say, hey, you're not the center of the universe, guess what? And I remember being told that, right?
Right.
And these are people who didn't actually have not realized that they're not the center of the universe. They probably think that the sun rotates around the earth as well. Who knows? They haven't seen the earth rotate around the sun. The earth could be flat. I wanna know what like the postmodernists think of the year 2018. Because now that we're in like post-fact world, do you think they're like guilty? Like, do you think like Derrida and all the French postmodernists are like, sacre bleu, what have we created? Like, there is no truth. Right. Donald Trump, I don't know how to do a French accent.
I thought it was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
But I think Anna's onto something here with what struck me in all of these clips was the way you're hearing regurgitated the stuff that they're getting from the Fox News propagandists. They're getting that the media. You even heard the second guy talk about, well, you know, on CNN and you know the mass media that doesn't tell the real story. You heard him mention Chicago. You heard him mention statistics, the first guy. I mean, even though they're completely ridiculous statistics, you heard him mention it. In other words, he's hanging his opinions, and they hang their opinions on facts that are completely fictions, but they claim them as facts. So they found the hard right has found this way to get their information out, and so their people don't feel stupid. They don't feel backwoods, and they don't even, in a way, I mean, I know that we can make fun of them, but they're not communicating in like in a total backwoods way to their people anyway.
But I also think that again, with the way the right is going and the way that Trump will, you know, pitch this to his base is that actually you are embattled people. That actually like the media is the enemy. The media is telling you something different, not ignoring the fact that the most watched cable news network, I believe, is still Fox News. And Fox News says mainstream media. The MSM. Like, you'll be like, you're on the MSM right now. You are the mainstream media. But no. The powerful are the weak, and they are the ones who are the oppressed at this point in history.
Yeah, it's just incredible because all they need to be told is that they've been wronged and that all their lives' problems can be blamed on a certain group of people, and Trump is going to be your savior, right? And they believe it. It's kind of incredible how gullible people can be, because it doesn't take much to like look into what Trump has done for them specifically, because it's not much. You look at the Trump era tax cuts and it hurts them. It hurts them so much, but they don't care.
Yeah.
You look at what's happening with the stock market, right? By the way, the vast majority of Trump supporters don't even get paid enough in their wages to be able to invest in the stock market, but most of them will stand there and say, well, you see what's happening in the stock market?
But this is a benefit, I'm gonna interrupt, Brett, because this is a benefit of politicizing everything.
Yeah.
When you politicize absolutely everything, including saying that the anthem protests are not about what they're about, they're just about the disrespecting the country, they're just about disrespecting the military, whatever it is, then actually you get into this post-fact world. I was on a plane and I remember a guy said, the right annoys me and the left annoys me. I just feel like they're both full of, the S word. They're just like, I don't know who to believe. And it's like, and I was like, okay, but we were talking about children being taken from their parents at the border. I was like, okay, well, there are news reports and it is factual that children have been taken from their parents at the border. I don't know what to believe. I honestly don't.
I know.
And it's like, when we've politicized fact, if like, as Colbert used to say, truth has a liberal bias, then what? Then we've completely lost.
Then they push away from facts completely, you're saying.
Right, exactly.
Like, I don't have to believe, so don't give me any information.
I
Because it's
saw
all
a
gonna be
quote recently
politicized.
that was awesome, and it was from Mark Twain, and it's easier to fool people than to convince people that they've been fooled.
Oh, we know that better than anyone.
So the move is, and people decide what they want first and how they want to feel first. I don't think that that's like outside. It's not unreasonable to think that. And so people also want like argument arrows to put in their quiver. And then you saw everyone there just pull them out, like mainstream media. There's something else, like your facts are yours, Chicago, blah, blah, blah.
Violence.
And that's what they want. And it's just our job to find like the right facts to put in their quiver. However, I will say, if you look at the candidates who have been winning, there's just an article recently about Gillum in the New York Times, and it was about defying what people think is like conventional wisdom. And look at the progressive candidates who are winning. They're not saying Ted Cruz is an idiot. I think it was actually Beto O'Rourke, and they mentioned other candidates. They're not saying Ted Cruz is an idiot. They're like, I don't need to talk about Donald Trump. If I mention his name, I'm doing your narrative and your discussion. So the answer is, hey guys, what we should do instead is essentially step up and say, here are the issues I care about. Do you care about them? Hey, average American, here is what I believe in. Do you believe in that?
Right.
And go issue by issue, lay out planks in a platform, and we can all stand on them because we all want to stand on them.
Right.
That's it. Do it. Home of progressives.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.